Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Mount Vernon residents are appealing for help after road collapses during recent rains. Poor drainage infrastructure being blamed for the flooding across the island. And later in sports, Reggae Boys take on Argentina in Big Friendly International. I'm Kalisha Williams and here are the details. With the rain finally letting up in some parishes, the devastation from the outer bands of Hurricane Ian is even more glaring. In Mount Vernon Gap, St. Thomas, residents are desperately appealing for help after a section of the already poor road surface collapsed Monday night. Prince Moore has the report.
This is what's left of the main entrance to Cedar Valley in Mount Vernon Gap, St. Thomas. Between Monday night and Tuesday morning, the saturated soil collapsed into this gully, an all too familiar scene for residents in the community.
For 3 years now, we have a cut off, a break off, where no vehicle can go. And I've been to parish council several times asking them to come and see what they can do to fix it, because if it cut off, we will be marooned.
And now residents are in that same situation. A section of the road collapsed in 2020 and was reduced to single-lane traffic. Now it is barely wide enough for pedestrians.
Till we cut off completely, it's bad. Where are we going to get food for our kids? Where we are going to get food for our family? It is a disgrace. Nobody cares for us. A big district like this.
This is so bad, so bad. We know it gone. Where we are going to do? What we are going to do? Where we are going? Baby mother there, if we sick, we can't come out, nothing.
So what have the local authorities been doing? Residents stressed that they have been in dialogue with their councillor, Marsha Francis.
Nobody busy with us. Engineer come, different people come. Nobody look at us. All they are saying is parish council road. And we come on parish council, we have no councillor. Nobody no look for we talk to the councillor. She said she gonna try, and all they try until now.
When we contacted Ms. Francis, she told our news team that she is aware of the situation and plans are underway to fix the road. She said the municipal corporation is trying to acquire an additional plot of land to start the restoration. Ms. Francis also indicated that she will be visiting the community to assess the latest damage. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
Poor drainage infrastructure is again being blamed for the widespread flooding across the island from rains associated with Hurricane Ian. The outer bands of the storm left many communities in St. Catherine submerged, and the residents are blasting the government for not doing enough. More in this report. Brunswick Avenue in St. Catherine impassable Monday evening. Up to late in the night, the nearby community of McCoy Gardens was still underwater. Residents are both frightened and frustrated.
The rain falling and it blocked it all in my house. If you go right in there, everything full of water. It come to the bed. To the bed. At all the while when rain fall, I search there, but it's worse today.
Miriam Watson has been living in McCoy Gardens for years. Now she is struggling to pick up the pieces after rains from the outer bands of the tropical storm system ravaged the place she called home.
Down to my clothes, me not have no clothes to put on. Me have some food, everything. You see it where? You see there where bus in the yard.
With more rain in the forecast today, residents of McCoy Gardens are still not in the clear. However, they believe the government is to be blamed for failing to develop sustainable drainage infrastructure in the community.
It want to clean out up the road here, sir. It want to clean. It want to clean. And them won't clean it. And them say, labor down here, so labor and labor now do nothing at all.
And the National Works Agency says it could take some time before some roadways are cleared of debris resulting from the heavy rains. Carrion Simpson has that story.
Once the tropical storm watch was lifted, there was an expectation that there would be bright skies and sunshine. The opposite has happened with Hurricane Ivan strengthening as it moves away from Jamaica. The result? Flooded roadways and breakaways in sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Thomas and Kingston. But the National Works Agency says it cannot attend to all situations given the inclement weather.
Very often we just have to allow the floodwaters to recede, and thereafter we can go in and assess that which is left behind by the floodwaters. Either you have surfaces that are badly scoured, or you have surfaces that, despite the passage of the stormwater flows, were not unduly impacted. And so, all that is required is for us to maybe clean up some debris and return the corridors to full use by the motoring public.
And with reports of landslides in Trelawney and Westmoreland impacting roads.
Where it is that we have landslides, and in particular if a road is blocked, then the instructions are given to our officers on the ground to ensure that these corridors are reopened in a timely way.
But the most shocking report came from this video. It shows a driver of a public passenger vehicle attempting to break off the locks from the gates of the Bogwalk Gorge in St. Catherine. It was closed to ensure persons' safety after the water level rose above 30 feet high. Mr. Shaw says it's a common practice that needs to stop because it can result in death.
We have had situations where persons have actually removed the gate, enter into the Bogwalk Gorge, causing problems to themselves, or situations where persons remove the gates and then those persons who might not have gotten the information about its closure end up inside there.
Carrie-Ann Simpson, TVJ News.
Meanwhile, Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, says the municipality was affected by minor issues during the rains. He says small land slippages were reported in East and West Rural St. Andrew. As for the roadways, Mayor Williams says the passage of Aeon did not cause any new issues. He says a team from the corporation is carrying out assessment work. Mayor Williams was speaking after a tour of sections of the municipality this morning.
We have had damage to sections of our roadways from every rainfall, every downpour. There are sections in Red Hills and across the municipality we have had damage. Those initial assessment has been done, and we will continue to do the assessment throughout this week, and so that we can have a fair idea as to the damage and the approach in addressing the damage.
Teachers and staff at the Roseville Play and Learn Early Childhood Preparatory School in Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth have been left traumatized following a break-in at the institution on the weekend. Now, as Sandy Williams reports, it's not the first time the school has been targeted by hoodlums.
A damaged door, ransacked office, and an unmade bed in the nursery are what greeted teachers, staff, and students at Roseville Play and Learn Early Childhood Preparatory on Tuesday, a stark contrast to how they left the institution last Friday. The teachers theorized the perpetrator broke into the school and may have spent the weekend there.
Because they had time to plug in our radio, take it from the office to a classroom and plug it in, as if it was playing. We came and it's just crazy. We have snacks, they eat all the snacks. Even in our sick bay, which is all the way to the back, they take the snacks there and they eat and throw down and ravel the beds. And we had the rains, we weren't able to come in yesterday because of the weather. And our principal came by to just check and found our front window prized. She called, went to the station, police came and all of that, and this is what we pounced upon.
It's not yet clear if anything was taken. The school's secretary, Janet Miller, says this is not the first breaking at the institution. In January, thieves broke into the school and took computers and other items, which impacted the resumption of classes.
So all 5 went, our printers went, an industrial and HP. Everything in our office went down to the very spray, insect spray we had here. Everything ransacked, door break off and all that. And that was in January. We couldn't open for January. We had to take a few days to kind of, you know.
And exactly 2 weeks ago, the school was again the target of hoodlums.
We lost nothing really, but we were mashed up. Everything in our office was torn to pieces. Our desks were ransacked, everything. And we are really, really tired of it. And everybody is like, it's just crazy, tearful, speechless. We can't find the words, honestly.
Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
The St. Anne police are investigating the murder of a woman in Freehill Bamboo. The body of 24-year-old cashier Alicia Rose was found about 1:30 yesterday afternoon. Her throat was slashed and the hands and feet bound. Miss Rose was employed to a service station in St. Anne's Bay. She was last heard having a heated exchange with someone at her home Sunday afternoon. Her body was found the following day in her yard. And it's now time for the Business Minute. Here's Cody and Barrett.
Jamaica's transportation sector received an upgrade with the launch of the new Do Get Go app. The app will allow users ease in securing transport services in Western Jamaica. The app was created by technology developer Ridium Caribbean and launched in partnership with the Jamaica Union of Travelers Association Montego Bay on September 22. In business overseas, European countries are investigating 3 mystery leaks in 2 major gas pipelines between Russia and Europe. The cause of the damage to Nord Stream 1 and 2 is unclear, but authorities have not ruled out sabotage. The operator of Nord Stream 1 said the undersea lines had simultaneously sustained unprecedented damage in one day. Both pipelines have been flashpoints in the energy tussle between Moscow and Europe. That's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
It's now time for our regional and international stories. Here's Sandy Williams.
In the region, the outgoing director of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, Dr. Carissa Etienne, has acknowledged the significant gains in health in the last decade, but urged countries to address current challenges, including immunization gaps that have rolled back nearly 3 decades of progress on childhood vaccinations in recent years. She says across the board, vaccination rates for preventable diseases have either stalled or moved backwards, and the region now sees the circulation of diseases that we have either already eliminated or were once on the verge of surpassing. The PAHO director urged countries to reverse these trends with unwavering resolve, as other diseases like yellow fever are just one outbreak away from becoming regional emergencies. On the international scene, Tampa International Airport is preparing to suspend operations as Hurricane Ian approaches. Airport officials didn't say how long arrivals and departures would be impacted once the terminals go dark. The airport CEO said the facility will lose millions of dollars due to the shutdown, but Ian has given them no choice. Hurricane Ian is expected to hit near Tampa late Wednesday and bring with it high winds, a strong storm surge, and flooding. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And that's the Midday News. I'm Kalisha Williams. Join us at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.